I started doing fad diets here and there, and I'd have like really good success losing it, and then as soon as I'd go off of it, I would gain it back.
Leah Lewis faced what millions of people have, a biological system working against her.
It's so hard for people to lose weight because our bodies have been designed to be really good at not starving.
It's why 80% of people who lose weight gain it back 1 year later. But Leah managed to defy the odds.
We would meet out at Swamp Rabbit Trail. He'd put a 35-pound weight vest on me and we would ride our bikes out.
She lost 100 pounds without medication and has kept it off for 6 years. But a hormone imbalance almost caused her to gain it all back.
I literally gained 30 pounds in 3 months. I got severely depressed. I started having swelling in my calves.
So how did she get through it? Welcome to the Wellness Files, a podcast where we explore practical tools, research, and real stories. I'm your host, Carrie Beal, and today we hear from patient Leah Lewis and obesity medicine doctor Catherine Saunders. We are here with Leah Lewis, so thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I know we've talked in the past about your journey. That's kind of how I first found out about it. And I remember when I was doing that story, there was so much that I couldn't include in the broadcast version because I only get a few minutes in broadcast. And I was like, you know, this would be a great podcast because there's so much to tell. I think so many ways that you could help other people. But one of the things I thought was so interesting about your story, so according to some research, only 20% of people who lose weight maintain that weight after just 1 year. And they find that individuals that have successfully maintained their weight loss for 2 to 5 years, the chance of long-term success greatly increases. So basically, the longer you're able to maintain it, the more likely you will maintain that permanently. So I want people to understand a little bit your journey, kind of how you were able to lose the weight. But for you, I know it's not just losing the weight, it was, you know, becoming a different version of yourself, right? So share with people kind of your story.
Okay, yeah. So I grew up, as a kid, I'd say probably around 3rd grade, I was overweight. Nothing crazy, but just probably a little baby fat, as people would say. And then wasn't involved in sports or anything like that, but didn't really enjoy that kind of stuff. I had all brothers and went to all their sporting events, but as I got older, it progressed, and then parents went through a divorce and things like that, and really just kind of started eating my feelings. Went through the emotional eating type stuff and just not really caring. Deep down, obviously, I cared what I looked like, but I just did not have that, I guess, willpower or I don't know. I didn't really know what to do. And so in my 20s, I started doing fad diets here and there. And so like I did the Atkins and all those kind of things, and I'd have like really good success losing it. And then as soon as I'd go off of it, I would gain it back. I never really incorporated exercise much because I didn't have a clue what I was doing, besides just like going for a walk or something like that. And then in my 30s, I got more serious about it. I started really focusing on food more, and walking and things like that, and would go in the gym, but again, had no clue what I was doing. And so I might get on some machines and then just kind of like hop off and go back to the treadmill. And so I did one last fad diet, which was really dangerous, but it was working for me. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll keep doing this. And so dropped a bunch of weight, thought I was looking really good. And my grandma is like, you're too skinny, you're getting too skinny. Your face looks sunken, you look gray. And I was like, no, I look great. And anyway, that led me to almost being in the hospital. I had to go to the doctor. It was a diet, I won't really talk about what it was, but it was eating 500 calories a day, which is not at all.
Extreme diet.
It was extreme, and I lost weight very quickly and ended up getting very, very sick. And so in the time that I was healing, I put weight back on because I was nourishing my body and I was eating. And I literally my mom had to take care of me for a month. Like I was very sick. So during that time, I had a lot of time to think about the future, think about my life, things like that. And so over the next year, like I'd put on weight and everything like that, but I'd also made a lot of changes personally in my life, and for the better. And so I started following this trainer locally, Daniel Cole, on Facebook. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. Man, I would love to do that one day. And so followed him for a year, messaged him a couple times about training, and just mentally was not in that place, because I tell clients all the time, you have to be mentally ready just as much as you are physically, because it is very much working out, and fitness is a mental thing. I mean, it really is. And so literally a year after I followed him, I got on the scale that day, saw how much weight I gained, and was like, I'm done. I'm over this. And so it was 1 year away from my 40th birthday. And I said, what better thing to do than before I'm 40? You know, lose the weight, get fit, get healthy, and do it the right way. And so I'd never had a personal trainer before. I really did not have the money for a personal trainer. I was a single woman. I was supporting myself, full-time student. It was not something in the budget, but it was important to me. So it's kind of an ongoing joke now, because I'm still paying him in a way, because I paid him in student loans, and so I'm still paying interest on it. But it was so worth it, and so I cut back on going out to eat and movies and all those things, and just really dedicated the next year of my life.
Priorities.
Yeah. And so that first month was so tough. It was very, very discouraging. It was a mental just roller coaster. It was crazy.
Do you think because of the workouts, or what was so
for
tough?
Everything? Because I'd never done anything like that before, and I'm really passionate, but I'm also very I'm one of those people. I'm gonna cry when I'm mad, when I'm sad, when I'm happy, and if I can't do something, it's frustrating. You know, I get upset, and so I would go in a workout with him, and I couldn't complete the whole thing. And it wasn't anything really even that insane. I was just so unhealthy at the time. And so I remember sitting in the corner just trying to catch my breath and not pass out. And, you know, I also didn't know the nutrition side of things. So it's I wasn't eating or something like that, to where I wasn't fueling my body. And so the first month was tough. I wasn't going to quit, though. That was the thing. And he even tells me now, that first day, he saw it in me. He's like, she's going to get through this. She's going to go all the way. And in fact, he said to me day one, you're going to be a trainer one day. And I laughed at him and told him he was absolutely crazy. And he's like, no, watch, something's going to happen. You're going to be in posters next to me. And I'm like, you are insane. Just let me get under 150 pounds. I don't even know what that looks like. Just something. And anyway, after the first month was tough, and then I got through it, and I think I cried the day I finished the whole hour. And it was just it's such an emotional thing, and I see this all the time in clients, especially women. When you can overcome a fear, really something you've never done before, it's amazing. It's just wow, I did that. And then I did a box jump, just things like that, that you're terrified of, and then you're able to do it. And so so those first 3 months were a little like this, because it was holidays, and it's and
then it was COVID, right?
Oh yeah, so then COVID hit.
So you had to work out outside?
Yeah, and it was crazy because the gym shut down, and the majority of his clients were like, all right, I'm done, it's the shutdown, we can't do anything. He's like, I'll train you outside. Nobody wanted to do it. And I went up to him and I said, I have a goal. Before I turn 40, I am reaching this goal. So you do what you need to do. I am not giving up if you don't give up on me. And so we would meet out at the Swamp Rabbit Trail. He'd put a 35-pound weight vest on me, and we would ride our bikes out. And there was a little outdoor kind of workout area, and he'd bring TRX bands and resistant bands, and that was our workout, And it was hot, and there weren't bathrooms around. It was all the things, but that was where I literally fell in love with it. I was like, man, I love this. I love working out. I love all these things. And then him and another trainer were out there one day, and they both said to me, they're like, you've got the bug. You're going to be a trainer. And I was like, no. And they're like, you love it. You love it so much. And you also, my background was helping others and helping kids and all that. And they said, you mix those two together, it's a perfect fit. And so sure enough, I lost 38 pounds during the shutdown. And I also had all the time in the world. I mean, I was, food prepping, and I was working out with him about 4 or 5 days a week. I would walk after every meal. I was just so serious about it. And then later, I ended up getting certified. And I've been doing this a little over 5 years. And I literally love it. It's my passion. It's wonderful.
You said when I was interviewing you for that story that I did, that you had no idea what to do if you were to walk in a gym.
Oh, yeah.
What changed? How did that change?
So I had a personal trainer show me everything. I mean, step by step. It started off just more body weight type things, and then dumbbells, little things, and you progress. And as you can do that, you do something else. And then when we were in the gym using the machines, I didn't know how to use these machines. Those little pictures, those aren't the best
It's also
things.
Intimidating, right? If you don't know how to use. There's even equipment I don't know how to use in the gym, and I'll be like, I'm not going to use that.
Yeah. And also when you have a personal trainer, I mean, it's one-on-one. And so you feel less intimidated because you got someone right by your side showing you everything and helping you. So you're not going to hurt yourself and have bad form or anything like that. And his background was like, he was going to be a physical therapist. So he has all this background in helping people preventing injuries and things like that. Good. So that was one of the big reasons too, why I was like, well, he's like the perfect fit, you know? But just learn from him. And I mean, it took me a really long time to actually even work out with him, because it wasn't just intimidated by the machines, it was just intimidated in general. And this is where the mental side of it comes in. And I see this all the time in women, especially in clients. And it's just it's a fear. It's in your mind, and it's like, you know, I don't know, it's like something talks you out of it. Like, you can do it, but you have this fear, like, I hear it all the time. Oh, well, people are looking at me. I'm going to be embarrassed. Nobody's looking at you. When you go in the gym, I mean, unless you're like some really good looking person, somebody's checking you out. But I mean, people aren't watching you work out. They're not, that's not what they're there to do. But it's just this fear that you have to overcome, because I went through it.
Don't want to be embarrassed.
Right. And then also, like, if you're overweight or something and you don't like the way you look, you know, people are looking at me, people are judging me, all of these things. They're not. They're not. It's just this. You're having a battle with yourself. So it's really just overcoming those things. And man, when you do, it's such like a liberating feeling. It's amazing. And that, just things like that, like with clients now, it's, you know, they're very intimidated in the beginning, and then I watch this happen where, you know, I take a before picture day one. I do their measurements, I do body composition, and I take before pictures. And pretty much every single client, when I take that picture, there's not a smile on their face. Even if I say smile, it's not. And over time, every month, we do measurements, we do body composition, all those things, you know, you'll see like their face kind of a little more smile, and then like say they've lost like 12 pounds. You see it change in their face, and it's not just a smile. It's like something from the inside. Like, you know, I mean, they're making progress, which progression, not perfection. That Daniel said that to me very early on, and it's stuck. And it's so true. And that's what I say to my clients, you know? So it's like, you know, holidays, you might do this, you know, you might lose a couple pounds, you might put a pound on, you know, but you're still going, you're still trying, you know, say the dress that you've been wanting to wear for 3 months finally fits. Like, that's huge. That's a huge victory. So it's just, the big thing is, don't be hard on yourself. Don't be so mean to yourself. Be kind to yourself. So these are all things that I learned. It's great when you have somebody on your side, when you have that accountability and you have someone motivating you and cheering you on. And, you know, I wasn't just a number. Like, I was one of his clients, but it was more than that, you know, and then it became a friendship. And then I got certified and I became his first employee, you know, and now we own the business together. And so it's just so wild, this ride. Like, I mean, it's amazing.
So in total, you lost around 100 pounds?
Yeah. I don't actually know exactly what I lost, because I did not weigh myself. In my 20s and 30s, I really didn't even want to step on the scale. But I know I had to have been at least 275 pounds. And I mean, that was a lot. I remember seeing a picture at my brother's wedding, and I had lost weight for that wedding. And I still just, I mean, wow. Yeah, so it was definitely over 100 for sure.
So I spoke with an obesity medicine doctor, so Catherine Saunders, and I want to go to some sound from her. So she's board certified in obesity and internal medicine. She talked about why it's so hard to lose weight, like why our body physically challenges us in that. And then we also talked about hormones. So let's listen to a little bit of that interview.
It's so hard for people to lose weight because our bodies have been designed to be really good at not starving. And so we have all of these kind of adaptive mechanisms that are just part of our biology, literally, that when our bodies start to lose weight, whenever we go on a diet or, you know, whatever we do to try to lose weight, our body is going to, you know, starvation mode, literally thinking that we're going to starve. And so think about even just trying to lose a couple pounds. At a certain point, when people are on a diet, doing exercise, whatever they're doing to try to lose weight, the body fights back and basically causes hunger to increase, makes people have cravings, think about food more. Metabolic rate literally slows down when people start to lose weight, because the body is just doing everything possible to hold on to every calorie so someone doesn't lose and lose and lose until they die. And so years ago, many, many, many years ago, this was an evolutionary, advantage, an adaptive advantage. But, now in our environment that's so obesogenic, it's just so incredibly easy to gain weight. And we can talk about the biology of that. And so hard to lose weight because of the way our bodies are designed to really defend a high weight that somebody has been at and try to get them back to where they were.
Yeah, how can hormones and metabolism and the brain response all play a role in that?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would need hours and hours and hours to go into all of the biology. It's actually extremely complex. There's an area in our brain called the hypothalamus, and that is sort of the energy regulatory center of our brain. There are other brain regions involved, and really there's so many areas of our body involved. But it's a very complex interplay of, different hormones coming from different places, and telling our brain, what's going on. So, for example, we all hear about the GLP-1 medications, right? GLP-1 is one of these gut hormones that feeds back from the gastrointestinal system, so our digestive system, to the brain to tell our brain that we're full and, to be less hungry and stop eating. And so that's kind of harnessed as a medication now, but that's just one example of some of the hormones that tell our brain that we're full. We also have a hunger hormone called ghrelin, and that tells our brain that we're hungry. And then what happens with other hormones is that, everyone talks about insulin resistance. So having higher weight is kind of a state of being insulin resistant. And so the brain doesn't get feedback signals as well, not just from insulin, but other satiety hormones like leptin. So it's harder for the brain to get these signals about fullness. And that's why, some of these systems can kind of get out of whack.
All right, so coming out of that, I first want to tackle what she was talking about at the beginning. So that is how our body will biologically fight us when we lose weight and want us to gain it back. Did you feel like you faced this a lot?
I definitely feel like I did in the beginning, those first 3 months. Again, I go back to the mental side of it. It's very much a mental game. I mean, it is. Even telling yourself, go to the gym. I mean, it's like you got the angel and the devil on each shoulder. Go, no, don't go, it's cold, things like that. It's overcoming things. Like, I can do this, I'm gonna do this. You gotta become your biggest cheerleader. I mean, you really do. Yeah.
Now, she also spoke about hormones. I understand you have a whole story to your hormone journey.
I could talk to you for a long time about that.
So let's talk about that. I think a lot of women and men, I mean, they don't realize how hormones can play a role into their health.
Right, absolutely. So even in like my 30s, 40s, I never went through anything like that. I had a good friend that worked at a gynecologist. She used to always tell me, you're in perimenopause. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, that's when I'm 50. And she's like, no, that's like pre. No. And so at 40, I was the healthiest I've ever been. I looked the best. I felt the best. Like, it was amazing. I wasn't struggling with anything like that. And so, I mean, I ended up keeping the weight off 5 years. Like, I was doing fantastic. And then about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I started having some pretty wild symptoms. It was pretty scary, honestly. Just insane stuff. My vision started getting blurry. I started having like headaches pretty much daily. There were times where it happened to me at work one day, and this girl said she didn't know if she should call the ambulance or what was going to happen, but I just kind of, vision went blurry. I got a little dizzy, stuff started happening, and she said like something happened in my eyes. Like, it was just very strange. So I went to the doctor, and he was saying I needed an MRI, and he was saying this. So I definitely say go to a doctor for all of these things, but you definitely want one that you trust, that's a really good doctor. I've unfortunately had some bad experiences, but I had a doctor tell me without testing me, not that I might, but that I have MS or lesions on the brain. There was no testing done for that. So then that's put in my mind, and
scary.
Very scary.
So before you had an MRI?
I had not had any tests done. And so I was terrified. That started adding more stress to me because my MRI was going to be 2 months out. So I'm just waiting for this test, you know. So then I
know a place you can get it done immediately.
Yeah.
If you ever want another MRI.
I was also uninsured at the time.
Okay,
and
they don't take insurance, but they'll take you day of, week of.
Well, here we go.
Imago MRI. I've done a story on them. So
Yeah. Well, anyway, I got the MRI and everything's fine. Yeah. No problems. They sent me to an eye doctor and they found optic nerve damage in my eye. So then they sent me to an ophthalmologist. Ophthalmologist found nothing. And again, this was like spaced out. I mean, it was, you know, getting these appointments and everything. Couldn't find anything. So it's like all these things are happening and I'm not really getting any answers. So we do blood work, everything's fine. It was a male doctor, which is fine, no big deal. But I kept mentioning to him, like, I think this is perimenopausal. Like, I think this might be hormones. He brushed it off. No, it's not that. It's lesions on your brain. It's MS. And I'm like, I think it's perimenopause. Like, I kept reading all of these really crazy things that can happen. Crazy stuff.
And you said you were gaining some weight.
Yes, I started gaining weight. And so then he told me to go see a gynecologist. So I said, okay. So I found one. I didn't have one at the time because my previous nurse practitioner had retired and she did all of that for me. And so I was actually really missing her because, you know, when you're with, it's a relationship when you're with this doctor for so long and then you don't have them anymore. So I did find someone, went to them, and I explain all my symptoms, and she tells me, oh yeah, girl, you're just going through perimenopause, like it's all the symptoms, totally normal.
So she just like opposite side of the spectrum.
Yes,
like,
yes.
oh yeah.
So it felt really good, like hearing that from, you know, woman's perspective. However, she did not do any blood work, and I wasn't even thinking this at the time. I'm just in this safe space with her at the moment. So she says, I know what you need. You just need a little estrogen. That's all you need, and then you'll be fine. And so I said, well, what do you mean estrogen? Like, you wanted me to take something? And she's like, yeah, we're just gonna put you on birth control. And I said, no, I don't want to go on birth control. Like, I've been on it before, and every time I've ever been on it, I had some really crazy symptoms. Like, I don't want to go on it. And she's like, well, that's what you need. Just really was pushy with me about it. But I trusted her, I believed her, and I was like, okay, she said, I'm gonna put you on the lowest dose. I said, well, wait a minute, I don't wanna gain weight. Like, every time I've been on birth control, I gain weight. I've had depression, like crazy stuff. She says, no, this is a very light dose, you'll be fine. I trusted her, I believed her. 3 months, she said, take it for 3 months. About 2.5 months in, I literally gained 30 pounds in 3 months. I got severely depressed. I started having swelling in my calves. Just thoughts that I'd never had before, just not good. So I was over it. I'm just done taking it. And so I sent, you know, get on my chart, whatever. I sent a message saying my symptoms, you know, and if you look up my chart and you see my background, you know, I'm on it not to prevent, you know, pregnancy. I'm on it for hormones. And she writes back, no problem, quit taking it, wear a condom. And sorry, Precious.
Did she forget, like, why you were on it?
I'm guessing I was just a number. I don't know. I was furious. And so I went off of it.
Wow.
I was very, I
can't believe she,
I
obviously she didn't read any of your notes then, like while you were taking it.
I cried. I was so upset. I went off of it. And I know I probably shouldn't say that, but
it's fine.
I went off of it, and I could not lose that weight. It was the hardest thing to do. And anyway, my previous doctor, who is a godsend, she's amazing. I just happened to see her on Instagram, like, I mean, within like a week or so, opening her own practice. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I contacted her. And so she opened, I was one of her first patients, went and saw her, talked about everything right off the bat. Let's do a Dutch test. Like, let's do hormones. Let's really check everything. And she even said that day, most likely your estrogen's probably going to be sky high because you were just on birth control. Like, this is probably what happens. She was right.
I actually talked to a doctor who said birth control usually has very high estrogen.
Yeah.
So she said she usually wouldn't recommend it unless, you know, you're somebody who handles birth control.
Right. Right.
Like you've taken it in the past and you didn't have too many responses to it, which obviously you did. So yeah, I was talking to another doctor about it. And she said she normally wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know why they put me on that, but anyway, we did the blood work. Estrogen was so high. I had like hardly any testosterone. It was so low. And then progesterone was just kind of middle, but it could be higher. So we talked about things, and she said there was a compound pharmacy in the area, and that's who she works with, and that they do testosterone. Like, I could get a cream, or I could get like these little almost like gummies that dissolve. And so I said, okay. I said, it's not going to make me like, you know, have a deep voice and all these. No, nothing like that. So I started taking that, and then
she was trying to like counteract what had happened, essentially, because your estrogen was so high.
Right. And also just, I mean, my weight gain and all these things. And she told me when we took the blood work, when we got all the results back, she said, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, because the estrogen is so high and you've been taking the birth control. It's going to take almost a year to get those hormones level again. Wow. And it was frustrating, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I will do whatever. I really trust this woman. I mean, she was my doctor for a decade, you know. And I said, okay, I'll do whatever you say. I mean, I trust you. And so I started taking that, and then I slowly got off of it. And we just kind of played around with stuff. Like, she's not holistic, but I like to say she kind of is, because we talk a lot about like supplements and vitamins and things like that, and just kind of making a list of, you know, things that are going to help. And she knows my backstory, and she knows how frustrating it was. I mean, this is my career. You know, I'm helping people get healthy and get fit, and then it's like, I've put on this weight. You know, it's a little embarrassing. It's frustrating, you know. And anyway, we're a year later, literally, like it hit right at a year. We did our blood work. Everything was perfect. I was so excited. And so the weight has started to go. It's wild though, because it was like right when I hit that year was when it started going down. I've lost about 13 pounds of the 30. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but for an entire year, that scale never went down. It just kept going up or just staying the same. And so I have learned that this perimenopausal type weight it's a little bit different. It's a little trickier than just what worked for me in the past is not exactly working for me right now in this moment. So it's kind of a science experiment in a way. I mean, I got to try different things, what works, what doesn't. Same thing, a lot of my clients, the majority of them are in that perimenopausal phase. And so it's kind of like we're learning together. So if it's their first month with me, you know, I might say, this is the nutrition plan we're going to do. This is our workout we're going to do. Let's see what happens this next month, and then we kind of, you know, fix things, whatever we need to do. But I mean, it's a learning experience, you know. It's something I look back now and I'm like, I hated that I went through it. It was a really rough year. It was really hard. I had some very discouraging times, but I also feel like there was a reason I went through it. You know, I literally lived it. I'm still living it, but I'm able to help other women, you know, that are going through the same thing.
So you actually had your blood work done, whereas in the first appointment you had with that doctor who prescribed the birth control, you didn't have blood work done, right? So you would recommend having the blood work done to kind of see where your levels are at, what's really going on. So it sounds to me that you were lowering your estrogen levels. So how were your perimenopause symptoms after you changed everything around?
They started getting better. The vision stuff went away. Come to find out, it was migraines. So I got put on some migraine medicine. Yeah.
Is that related to perimenopause?
They say, they said it could be, because I had only had like hormonal migraines. So basically that time of the month I'd get them a little bit, but they were starting to come, I mean, every week. I was having them constantly. My menstrual cycle was always normal. That never changed. I never was skipping or anything like that. But yeah, symptoms started to like slowly, you know, get better. I haven't had anything. I mean, really, it's been, I shouldn't say anything. I mean, I still go through like the cortisol stuff, which isn't the funnest. And it's like you wake up and your face is puffy and your belly's puffy and all the things. And I don't want to be on any medicine. I really don't. And so like I've talked to my doctor about it, and we're just kind of, she's like, just keep working out, try not to stress, you know, take some ashwagandha, things like that. So,
ashwagandha.
yeah.
mentioned that in another podcast episode.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a supplement fanatic. I've got so many different things, and so, you know, just make my little nightly mocktail with my magnesium and things like that. But just, you know, and trying to just fuel your body. And I'm working out again. Like, I slowed down a little bit last year. I mean, it was rough, and so I have my energy back. That was another thing. I had no energy. Like, it was crazy, and so all that's coming back again. And I mean, it took time. It did. You know, and I can be impatient. You know, especially when, you know, you want to get back to where you were. But it's, you know, I'm glad it happened, as crazy as that sounds, because I'm able to help other people now with it. And, you know, I'm still learning, you know.
So let's go over the habits that you have formed now, because I remember I really wanted to highlight this, what you do day in and day out as far as meal prepping. I know you write down your workouts. So kind of explain to everybody the habits that you have formed that have helped you maintain your weight, or maintain it through all the different roller coasters you've had.
Well, meal prep is like my #1 thing. I mean, you know, I've read so many things about when you open that refrigerator, whatever you see is probably going to be the first thing that you eat. So if you open that fridge and it's junk food, or it's like leftovers from pasta the night before, or whatever it is, you're probably going to, that's probably what you're going to eat. So when you're meal prepping, they say it's really important to put stuff in clear containers and put them right in front of the fridge. So when you open it up, that's what you're going to see.
That's
so
what you grab.
Yeah. So cut up those fruits and vegetables. Go ahead and do it. Have it in containers.
What day do you do it?
I'm Sunday, 100%. In fact, I got a new trick now. I do a Costco order, they deliver it, it's on my front door, and then I just start my cooking. So I don't even have to leave to do it.
And how long does it take you?
I mean, a couple hours, hour, 2 hours, like, I'm
hour
a little,
or two.
Yeah. But you cook for the whole week.
Yeah.
So I'll get a whole bunch of chicken breast, grill it, or, you know, in the oven, whatever, cook all your chicken breasts. I'm a big quinoa fan, so I cook a bunch of quinoa, and then I make quinoa salad with some cucumbers, tomatoes, things like that. Cut up all my fruits and vegetables. Like, I had berries, blueberries, raspberries. I just put them in a container together. They're right there when you open it. Celery and carrots, you know, make some ranch dip out of Greek yogurt. Just have it all there. Also, get rid of the junk. Get rid of the junk. I mean, I know, especially if you have kids and things like that, there's probably going to be some stuff around. But you know what? Your kids are watching you. And so it's like, do you want them to have a problem later in life? You know, I mean, just teach them healthy choices. Like, I train kids right now. I train their parents and their kids. And so they're watching their parents. They're watching their parents work out in the gym. You know, they see it, they want to do it. They're watching what their parents eat. So be an example to them, you know. There's so many options out there. You can make, I just told this story this morning, you can make chocolate chip cookies with cottage cheese. You blend that cottage cheese, add in some vanilla, some monk fruit stevia. You know, I mean, there's so many other options. So it doesn't mean that you have to, like, totally just not have some of your favorite foods. Just find a healthier way to make it. But yeah, so I'll prep all my food on Sundays, put it in those containers. I boil a bunch of eggs, so I have them, whether I want to throw it on a salad or make, you know, egg salad or whatever. And I mean, it might seem boring, but I don't know. To me, it works because I know it works. And so, like, all last week, it was pretty much like quinoa and grilled chicken almost every night, or I might throw in, like, you know, some greens and put the chicken on top or something like that. It can be boring, but it works, and it's fulfilling, and when you see that scale going down, it's so helpful. And the thing is, it's a lifestyle change. I mean, just going on a diet, you know, is temporary, but at the same time, what I try to teach all my clients is this is a lifestyle change. You know, I put them on a food plan in the very beginning, and it's pretty strict. Not everybody can do it. But I like them to do it about 2 weeks, because it basically is a bit of a detox. You're getting all that junk out of your body, but also you're restarting your metabolism. And so you're just eating super, super clean. I mean, you're cutting all the junk out. You're eating fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and, you know, getting your protein in, which is so important. Women have such a hard time doing that. And but anyway, if you start that and you start that habit, if it can stick and you keep being consistent, it's going to keep working. I mean, and then, like, your family, they'll follow the lead with you, you know?
It's like subconscious.
Yeah, exactly.
I was talking to a patient once who had lost weight, and she said that she can actually taste certain things now that she couldn't taste before. Like if it's a very processed food, she'll be able to taste, I don't know, she's like, it has a metallic-y taste. Or
interesting.
if something's super sweet, you know,
Right.
she would just eat it before, and she's like, now it just tastes too sweet. Like,
That's true.
I guess she adjusted her diet so much that now other foods that are less wholesome, she just doesn't have as much of an appetite for.
I'm like that with sweets. I was a huge, oh my gosh, I loved some sweets. And when I started all this like 6 years ago, that was the first thing I cut. That was one of the hardest things to do.
I'm a sweet tooth.
Oh, yeah.
I kept asking her, I was like, what about Oreos? I mean, come on. Do you ever get a craving? Ice cream?
Yeah. Well, when for like 3-4 months, I mean, I didn't cheat one time. I was so disciplined. That was during COVID.
Yeah.
And then it was my nephew's birthday party, and they had cake and ice cream, and I had like reached my goal, and I was good. And I was like, you know what? Because, I mean, yes, you're going to have a cheat day. You're going to have things.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, you can't deprive yourself for the rest of your life. I probably should have just had the cake or just the ice cream. And I was like, no. Because also my little nieces would always say, are you on a diet again? Like that kind of stuff. And I would be like, no, it's just I'm trying to eat healthy. So I'm like, yeah, I'll have a little piece. It was crazy. I left. I felt terrible. I went home and just laid down and like passed out. And I woke up like 3 hours later. I wasn't even wanting to take naps. I felt like I was in a different world. I was like, wait, what day is it? Like, that sugar. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But like now I really try to not to eat sugar. And when I do, like, you're right, it doesn't taste, I don't know. Because I use monk fruit and stevia. And so I love it. I mean, it doesn't faze me. Some people say it has a weird taste, but I'm like.
It's a different taste.
It is a different taste. Yeah. But if you've been like cooking with it and using it for so long, it's not going to really faze you. And so it's a big difference too. I mean, you know, sugar's terrible for you.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about eating, meal planning. What do you do for workouts? You plan that out every week, right?
Yep. So workouts, I write them out as well. I really like to split it up. I'm trying to do more cardio, and I love HIIT. I love it, I love it, I love it. But the more I've researched and things like that, because I mean, I would do HIIT, high intensity interval training every day. I mean, I love it. But with perimenopause, hormone, all this stuff with women, I keep reading. It's probably not the best to do all the time. And it's what I did a lot of before.
Do you think it's like too high intensity?
I think so. And
maybe like getting your heart rate up too much or something?
Maybe. I mean,
because I've heard a lot of like it's important to weight train.
Right.
Muscle maintenance.
Right. And so strength training is so important.
Yeah.
And so even when I do HIIT, I would incorporate strength training with it, you know, dumbbells and things like that. But I'm trying to do more focus on strength training. And really, if I'm going to do HIIT, it's 1 day a week, or it'll be like what I end my workout with, you know, just do like a finisher and do like a 5-minute, you know, little round or something like that. So I try to really do my strength training. So I've been breaking it up where I'll have like upper body 1 day, second day will be like lower body. I do core on all of them. So core finisher, that's my thing. There's always core at the end. Always make sure you're stretching and warming up. It's so important. You know, I had a client the other day, she gets in there early and she goes and walks on the treadmill with an incline, which is fine, but she doesn't stretch before. And so she came over to me and she's limping. She's like, I don't know what's wrong with my knee. And I was like, did you stretch? No. Gotta stretch. Gotta stretch. It's so important. Foam roll, all those things. I'm incorporating more cardio as well, so I'll split it up. But see, I also used to do 2-hour workouts and was just a beast and insane. And now it's like 30, 45-minute workouts, like shorter, but still getting it in. Get those 3 sets in, like you know. And then I'll have like a day of full body, and I've also incorporated more yoga. I think that helps. Flexibility,
mobility.
But it also helps your mind. I mean, it really does. All these cortisol levels and stuff like that, it really helps with that. And then I make sure I'm getting in the sauna. I'm trying to get in there 3 days a week, but like I did hot yoga the other day, things like that. So it's just doing things a little bit differently, but planning it ahead of time. And like with a personal trainer, it's great because it's an appointment. I mean, you've got it set on the calendar. You're that day, you've already paid for it, so you're not going to miss out on it. It you know, it helps with that.
Yeah. All right. So you plan your workouts, you plan what you eat. You use an app as well, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I use I use MyFitnessPal. So it's a free app. There is an option to go premium. There's no need unless you just really want to. But it's really just being aware of what you're eating. Like I try to teach clients that in the very beginning. I was the same way when Daniel was training me. I was stubborn at first. I kind of put it in, kind of didn't really food prep. Well, I also wasn't seeing much progress. And so he would tell me every time he saw me, are you logging your food in? You know, are you walking or doing other exercises the other day? You know, you're just kind of halfway doing stuff. The minute I started doing that stuff was when I started seeing a difference, because you need to be aware of what you're eating. I don't think people understand all the sauces, all the little hidden things. They have hidden calories and hidden sugar. Those coffee drinks, they're so delicious. It's my weakness too. But there is so much sugar in those drinks, you know, and there's other ways to order your Starbucks or order your drink where it doesn't have all that load of stuff in it, you know. But yeah,
plain half and half.
Yeah,
right?
So log your food in. I always set each client, myself too, I'll give them a set calorie intake for the day. And so it's going to depend on that person. Each person's differently. And MyFitnessPal will break it down for you. But I'm real big on protein, like high protein, especially for women. And so it might be like 40, 30, 30, like in the percent or something. So it's going to break it up into protein, fats, and I'm literally going blank right this second.
Like vegetables or protein, fats, and then
protein.
Carbs?
Carbs, thank you.
I mean, technically vegetables, fruits have carbs in them.
Protein, fats, and carbs. And so if it's more of like a weight loss type plan, I'm going to lower your carbs. Carbs are not bad. They are good. You know, I had to tell myself that. But it's eating the right carbs and eating them at the right time. Also, like I try to get my carbs out more earlier in the day. It just depends. But like oatmeal and quinoa and brown rice, those are great. You know, vegetables that have all your carbs in it, those are great. Just don't overdo it. You know, don't eat a baked potato every single day. Like, you know, sweet potato is great, things like that. But just really focus on that MyFitnessPal. And so like I tell my clients, you know, I know it's very tedious and it's like, gosh, I have to record my food like after every meal.
My husband makes me budget, and I'm like the same way. I'm like, of course I forgot yesterday. I was doing like a million things, you know, and he wants me to budget everything in our budget app.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, it will save it. So if you're kind of like, if you food prepped, it's going to save it. So if you ate that the day before, you just scroll through what I ate yesterday. Okay, repeat, but I'm going to add in a salad, you know, something like that. But really be aware of it. And I know a lot, like I did this too, but say it's like 6, 7 o'clock at night and you have not done it, or you've kind of done it and you go in there and you start punching everything in and you realize, oh, I have like 120 calories left, or I haven't even gotten near 100 grams of protein. Like, okay, let me go get some Greek yogurt and put some protein powder in it, you know? So things like that. It's just being aware, because you also don't want to undereat and not eat enough, because that's going to be a whole nother ball game. Like you got to be eating enough. And I think so many people just think, well, I need to just starve myself so I can lose weight. Nope, did it. It's not good. Wrong thing, you know. So, and you're also going to lose muscle too. So we want to put muscle on. And the majority of my clients come in, the first thing they say is, well, I don't want to look manly. I don't want to have all this muscle. And I said, I don't train bodybuilders, so you're okay. I mean, if you want that, go see another trainer, but that's fine, you know. And I'm like, but you know, you do want to put on muscle. Like you really do. When you're 70 years old, if you fall, you know, you got some muscle on there to protect your body, you know. So
and it helps with mobility and everything else. We're doing another podcast episode about NAD, which is something that our body needs to produce energy, ATP. And there's studies that show, we're talking about it for NAD therapy, like in a clinic, but we're talking about it, you know, also in the sense of exercise, that if you're exercising a lot, your body will naturally produce NAD, and NAD you need to do any function. You need for your cells to function, you need NAD, and our bodies start to lose it as we age. But studies have shown that if we exercise, it's better at maintaining it. And I don't know if it's our body thinking like, hey, we have a lot that we need to take care of here, muscles, repair, you know, making sure we're strong. I don't know what it is, but studies have shown that, you know, we have higher levels of NAD when we exercise. So.
Hey, motion is lotion. Like that. That your body is meant to move, especially if we have like a desk job. You know, you're sitting at the desk so much. You know, they have those little bicycles that go under your desk, you know, or just get up, walk to the bathroom, something like that. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but if you want to like stop and start doing some squats in the hallway, just move that body. We get stiff, you know, especially this cold weather.
Any final thoughts, advice you have for people who are maybe going through a similar journey as you, but they aren't on quite the bandwagon of meal prepping or, you know, going to the gym? Maybe they were like you, where they just were so intimidated. Or hormones, you know, so any advice you have?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing is, I mean, don't give up. Like, do your research, like look out there. If it's hormone type thing, reach out to a doctor, get your blood work done. For weight loss, things like that, I highly recommend a personal trainer because you do have someone in your corner. If that's not something in the budget, there's gyms out there that, you know, they have classes and things like that that are included. Or find someone that's going to be your accountability partner, like your spouse or your best friend or your sister or whoever. It really helps when you have someone in your corner. When you do it alone, it's tough. I get it. But even if you don't have anyone, there are groups out there. There's stuff on Facebook. I see it all the time about groups, or I'll see someone just post, hey, I want to work out, looking for someone to work out with me. I mean, seriously.
I go to this gym, anybody else?
Right. It's such like Renew Your Strength. That's our business. And it's such a community. And that is what really drew me in. Was it was a family. Those became my best friends. I mean, Daniel's my boyfriend now. Like, who knew? Like, it's just crazy. It's like, you know, we're a tight-knit community and we all have the same goals, and it's to get healthy. It's to get fit, you know, and so you're not alone. So be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself. Don't give up. I mean, I did it. Like, I never in a million years thought, my niece and nephew asked me that. They're like, did you ever think you were going to be a trainer? I said, no, not at all. And I mean, I've got my whole family in the gym now. My mom's in her 70s. She'll be mad at me for saying that, but she comes to the gym and trains with me 3 days a week. She comes on the other days and walks on the treadmill. You know, I've got my little niece and nephew who are 12 and 10. They come in, they work out, their parents are in there working out. Like, the kids see this, like, be an example. And plus, when you start feeling better, everybody in your family, you know, they're going to see what you're doing, you know, and they're going to, like, look at mom, look at dad, and be like, wow, like, you know, I mean, they look up to you. So just know you're not alone, you know, just don't lose faith. Listen, I can't tell you how many times, like, Daniel would be taking pictures or videos of me working out and, you know, post it for social media and stuff like that. And there was a few times where, like, my eyes are closed or my hands are together and people would be like, what are you doing in this picture? I'm like, I'm praying. I'm literally praying that I'm going to get through this workout and I'm not going to throw up. I'm not going to fail, you know, things like that. But, you know, just believe in yourself. Have faith. Like, you can do it. You can. But, I mean, it definitely takes work. Like, working out, it takes work. So, and then the eating part, if you can just get through those first 2 weeks, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a change. I tell people all the time, if it's a pretty strict, severe thing for you, it's like you're cutting out sugar or something like that. Those first 3 days are tough. They are. You might get a little headache, you know, you might have a little withdrawals from sugar. Eat some fruit. You're fine. You can do this. Just it's willpower. Tell yourself, tell that angel and that devil, you know, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So be your biggest cheerleader.
All right. Thank you so much for coming, Leah, and breaking down your story. I thought it was really interesting, and I learned a lot about hormones. I mean, I'm not there quite yet, but man, a lot of things to know. So. All right, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Wellness Files with Carrie Beal. If you like what you heard, make sure to follow us on Spotify or Apple. You can also leave a review or comment there. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube, make sure to save this playlist. This way you can see new episodes as they come out. They should be released every Wednesday. And I'm also on social media. Again, my name's Carrie Beal. You can follow me there. And on Substack, I post a summary of the podcast and other health stories that I'm working on. Thanks for listening.